Tim Petrowich here for Dateline Marion, and we're visiting with Marion head football coach Kerry Martin. Wildcats coming off of a pretty nice win Friday night against Mount Vernon. Put up a lot of points in the game, especially in the second half. I think, Coach, at one point you had 41 straight points. I think it wound up being 48-20, I think, or something. I can't remember the final score, which is not good. I usually remember that.
55-27,
That's
I think, or
26.
something. 26, yeah.
Now, yeah. But you see that I messed up already because I couldn't remember the final. But it was a lot of points, and after being 14-14 at halftime, the kids really responded in the second half.
Yeah, they did. It was a hard-fought first half, and I thought their game plan was really good. To keep the ball away from us and to pound it at us, and they went on a 7-minute drive to start the game. And I thought that was pretty good strategy. I thought we only got 3 possessions in the first half and limited the time we had the ball, so I thought it was good strategy. But fortunately, we got enough breaks in the second half, got the ball enough in the second half, and most of all, we did something with it once we got it.
The key play, I thought, because they had been controlling the ball, but you got it on your third possession right there near the end of the first half, and got down in the red zone and threw the pass. And we talked about this a little bit after the game. The ball went off of Dylan Simpson. I think it hit his hands and popped off his shoulder or something like that.
I think so too.
And Jaden Lacey was right there, kept the play going by diving for the ball and catching it right along the sideline, just in the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a big play, and it was a crucial time. I think there were 46 seconds left in the first half, and we needed a score to tie that up, and we knew we got the opening possession of the second half, so a score there would give us momentum plus the ball in the second half. And Jaden happened to be in the right spot at the right time, and Isaac made a great throw. It just came off Dylan's shoulder and deflected back towards the offensive line of scrimmage, and Jaden came right in and picked it up and popped in the end zone and gave us that tying halftime score. It was a big play.
And then you mentioned that momentum because you came out with that first possession. Another nice pass by Isaac hit Seth Bayer in stride for a 58-yard touchdown about 4 plays into the possession and really just opened up the floodgates.
Yeah, that was big. I think that was a good start, kind of a play we had been hoping to run at some point in time. We thought about it in the first half, and we got a chance to get a double move on somebody and get the ball down the field, and Isaac made a really nice throw with pressure. Had to make a throw kind of off his back foot and put some nice touch on it. Seth ran a great route to make a good catch, and that was big. Then the defense really did an awesome job in the second half of getting us the ball back pretty quickly and allowing us some other chances to score.
Some things to point out in that game. You mentioned the pressure that Isaac had on that pass. In the first half in particular, they really disrupted your offense and really disrupted Isaac with his passing, and I think he had to do a little more rolling out and watching where he was going after that because they really did a good job of getting pressure on him.
They've got a good pass rush. They've got a defensive end that can get up the field and make some things happen, and good players will do that. He beat us a couple times, and we had to move the pocket and screen a little bit and do some different things and chip with the back on him, but good players will do that. We play good competition, and they had 2 sacks in one series in the first half, the only drive we didn't score in the first half, and so that's that. When you play good teams, they're going to have good players that do good things, and that's exactly what we saw in the first half. But hopefully, you hope as a coach you can win a few of those battles, and our offensive line got better as the game went on. The protection got better, and then the running game really kicked in the second half.
I got to talk again about Braden Ziegler. He had 158 yards, and of course he had the bulk of those on the long touchdown run. But he had a 21-yard touchdown run before that long one. And this is something else that we noticed and talked about after the game Friday night. But he made about 4 cuts in the first 3 yards of that run. Being patient to wait for the hole and then doing a little dodging of some people. And then once he got to about the 15-yard line, it was clear sailing to the end zone.
Yeah, it's just a typical Zig run. It's what he does. It's his style. He's not Henry Jones. He's not Shaquille Ivy. He's not Chris Dalton. He's not Adam Byrne. I mean, he's his own runner. He has his own unique way of running, his own style, and it's kind of cool to watch, having to coach all these backs like Terranius and Torrance Stanley and others that I mentioned, that they all have their own way of doing things, and Zig certainly has his own unique way of running the football, and some signature little moves that he has, and the jump cut is a big deal for him, and he did a nice job.
And I think the other thing too about him, the thing that may go unnoticed is he is small enough. I think he uses that to his advantage because he will turn and cut through a hole that most backs wouldn't see, let alone be able to get through.
Yeah.
But he gets through it, and all of a sudden he's in the secondary.
Yeah, sometimes I don't think they see him back there, and that's not a short joke. That's just the truth, I think. I think that can be an advantage. You're seeing more of that. I know SIU has a running back that's short in stature, but it can run, and he's fast. And I'm sure behind that college offensive line, he's hard to see. And when you can run the way Zig can run, and he's got good quickness off the ball, it just takes a little bit of a gap, and he's through it. And before you know it, their heads are turning. We see a lot of head turns, defenders trying to find him. So it's pretty cool.
Thought when you needed you talked about the screens and some of the short passes to get the offense going. I thought Kyle Hughes came back and did a nice job in the ball game.
He did. Isaac did a good job of spreading the ball around to Kyle and to Seth and to Jaden and Dylan Simpson and Zig and some other people. And 13 for 15, I think, was our passing statistics. I think he was 7 for 9 the week before. So we haven't had a lot of incompletions, and Isaac's done a good job of taking care of the ball, and that's pretty proficient. And I think you couple that with the running game, which continues to improve. It's been a pretty good 2 weeks. We still feel like we got a long way to go. Of course, everybody feels that way, but I feel like we can still get better. But we're playing 4 quarters now. We're practicing better through the week, and kids seem to really be kind of embracing this little run we're on. So we got to keep it rolling.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2 full games without a turnover.
I think you're right. I think that's true, and I think that's pretty fortunate because that's a pretty rare thing.
Friday night this week, you're back at home after 3 weeks on the road in a row, but it's not an easy test. You've got Althoff coming in. I was looking at some of the numbers. I think the big word, the main word for this game is going to be offense.
Yeah, we're going to have to score some points. There's no doubt. I mean, they've got a really good offense. They can do everything well. They've got big receivers. They can get down the field. They've got a great quarterback. Running back is super fast. The offensive line is well coached. And I mean, you look at the film and you're trying to find weaknesses, and you run across these teams every once in a while that don't have a lot of weaknesses, And I mean, we still feel like there's things that we can match up and do against them, of course, but if you're hoping to have success because of problems or weaknesses they've got, that's not the case. And when you play good teams, that's usually the case. So we gotta just play well at a high level and make plays. We got to make some catches in traffic. We got to make some runs that break some tackles. This isn't going to be easy, and I think it's going to be important that our kids understand that every possession, every play, every snap on both sides of the ball, and even our special teams, they're all going to matter.
And you look at the numbers. First of all, Jordan Augustine, the quarterback, averaging almost 350 yards a game through the air. You think, well, they're a passing team, but they're averaging more than 200 yards a game on the ground. Almost 600 yards a game offensively for this team.
You're not making me feel any better right now. So, I know. And they're staggering numbers. I mean, and they don't play an easy schedule. I mean, they play good football teams. But they're just rolling right now. And, we've hit our stride offensively. Problem is they have too, and there ought to be a lot of points scored. Of course, 4 years ago, I think we played here to a very low-scoring game. Both offenses were rolling, so you never know. But if I had to guess, I would say there'll be some points scored. And I think it's going to be the defense that gets some key stops and makes some turnovers. And maybe the special teams will come out big. That's happened here many times with Althoff and at their place, where special teams played a huge impact in the ball game.
Well, you mentioned that low-scoring game with both those offenses rolling was 17-6. One of the touchdowns was a punt return by Torrance Stanley in that game.
That's right.
So there wasn't a whole lot of offense. This has been a really strange series.
Yeah.
Because up until 2007, Marion had never beaten Althoff on the football field. And then you won that game 50-46 in 2007, scored 2 touchdowns in the last 3.5 minutes of the game. Althoff hasn't won since then. Yeah. So it's just been a really strange series.
Yeah, as close as the games have been, and as close as, we've had some great ball games, we've had some back and forth games, and it's been strange to know that we've gone on a streak like that. Of course, they had a very long streak prior to me arriving here. And the first 3 years I was here, they beat us 4 times, including the playoff win. So then they won again, I think, in 2006 against us in a close game over there. So we struggled my first 5 years here to get a win against them. And then the 50-46 game where we scored late has put us on a streak. And you're right, it's a great rivalry. It's been some exciting games, and there have been some crazy things happen. We've had some 99-yard or 91-yard fumble recoveries and interceptions and punt returns. 1 year they returned 2 kickoffs for a touchdown. So you don't know what you're going to get when you see these two teams line up.
One of those games, too, I think you had an 86-yard pass play to, I think it was Derek Borum that caught a pass for 86 yards. So a lot of big plays, a lot of strange things. Some big-name players in this game, especially for Althoff over the years, Jason Ford, who wound up going on to the University of Illinois. Friday night, I think fans are going to really get their money's worth if they come out.
I think so too. You know, it ought to be an exciting game. It's a big conference matchup. We're both undefeated in the conference, and this is a big ball game. The winner is really going to be in the driver's seat for that conference title, and it's something we'd like to win for the 3rd straight year, and it's something they would like to take from us. So it's a big ball game. We're excited about it. My goodness, this is what I always told the kids yesterday at practice, that some high school kids never get to play in a game this big, you know, a regular season game this big. So embrace it. It's exciting. Have fun with it and go out and play your hearts out, and I think our kids will.
Now, Althoff is a team that traditionally travels well, and you're playing here, and you travel really well, and then when you have home games, you have an outstanding crowd. So this place will really be rocking Friday night,
Ought to be a great night. Sure should.
Marion and Althoff Friday night right here at Wildcat Stadium. South 7 conference game, and starts kickoff at 7 o'clock. It's Coach Kerry Martin for Dateline Marion. I'm Tim Petrowich.